The theme of this chapter is just simply fantastic, and this may be my favorite chapter thus far in the series, that is One Piece.
One Piece, Chapter 398, Declaration of War.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and heartfelt, tear-jerking, and just, God, want to just take over a country tale of One Piece. Now, our last chapter, of course, left us off on a very sorrowful note as Ohara was completely destroyed and annihilated. Saul was killed by Aokiji. Aokiji wound up ultimately, though, at the end of the chapter, letting Robin go, but made sure that she knew that, hey, we are not allies. I just, more or less was just kind of wanting to see how things would play out, and, Saul, obviously, it was like his dying wish. He felt so strongly about it, so, hey, I'll let you go, and, but we're not going to be buddies. So that's how the chapter left off. Robin was just tearing up and just crying, trying to laugh through the crying, the dereshishishi, but the theme of it really being that you'll eventually find friends, and those friends will protect you, and those friends will love you, and they'll care for you. And that's how the chapter left off. And the chapter picks up, and really the rest of the flashback winds up being 6 or 8 pages of Robin during the various stages of her life, just kind of trying to make it as this kid on the street that's pretty much hunted by the world government. We first see an opening shot of the lake that all the scholars were throwing the books into, and everybody else has been wiped out. It looks like there's not a soul alive, but yet there's enough books in the lake to to literally make it not like a lake anymore. So but I'm assuming the world government took and destroyed those anyway, or took possession of them, or what have you. I don't know. But anyway, they talk about, as far as, what's happening with Robin. And Spandine says that he saw her get away and this and that, and he goes, he was going to go after her. He goes, but all of a sudden, it's like my rudder was frozen. And I'm thinking, are you that much of a retard? Seriously, Aokiji, who's a vice admiral, clearly has the power of the ice fruit or whatever, the devil fruit, and he can use ice, and all of a sudden your rudder seemed like it was frozen. Anyway, it's funny though, because Aokiji is like, oh yeah, I guess that happens. So we'll have to get her, So, but they wind up showing through this series of different, obviously it's a flashback, but through this series of different panels that, anytime she was taken in by somebody to help out, she never had any money, but she would help. She worked very hard doing chores or whatever odd jobs or tasks. But every time the people sold her out, it's always sold her out for the reward or for the whatever. I'm assuming probably mostly the reward, but mainly just the fact that there was even one family that was just like, what, it's going to be too much of a burden. She's a very sweet, very hardworking girl, but the bottom line is that they're going to eventually find out. She even went and looked like she was with some kind of pirate captain at first too, and they don't ever really show his face. They just kind of show his gnarled teeth and him kind of chomping on a cigar. And maybe I'm missing something there that's going to connect later, but you wind up actually seeing his flag in the background and everything, and he winds up going to try to sell her out too, it looks like. But anyway, as you see her throughout the years, and then you see her when she's 16, and she joins this criminal organization, it looks like, basically to do some kind of shady underworld type stuff. And then you eventually wind up seeing, before she comes out of the flashback, certainly her meeting up with Crocodile, and obviously the events years prior that led up to Alabasta and her eventual meeting of the the Straw Hats. So, and then you see throughout those years her finding a poneglyph and reading it and this and that, but always being chased, always being on the run, always feeling like she had nobody, like she had nothing, like she had no claim to anything in this world, and always hearing that just being alive was a crime. That just being alive was her burden, was her punishment, or was her crime. Just existing, And I think about that, and I think, God, what a heavy cross to bear that would be. What if you grew up, and I'm not talking about growing up feeling like you don't have any self-worth, or you don't have many friends, you don't have any. Having nothing. Nothing. No family. Nobody that cares about you. And everybody who sees you either wants to turn you in, sell you out, kill you, capture you. And that's what she's had going for the last 20 years. And she's been told that just existing, just being alive and drawing breath into her lungs is a crime. And that's really what got me, you know. But as it comes out of the flashback, I really like this. And most of this I'm going to wind up actually going through and reading again here. And forgive me, I'm obviously visually impaired, so sometimes I'm going to have to get close. But it is what it is, right? So anyway, she just says, and she goes, here we go. So as she comes out of the flashback, and maybe we'll just go through the entirety of it, you know, as she comes out, and she says, so she's explaining, you know, if you sound the Buster call right here and now, not only Annie's lobby, but all of you will be blown away too. And then, of course, you get Spandine, you know, that's ridiculous, as if they'd attack and kill their own comrades. What are you saying? 20 years ago, everyone I loved was taken from me, and countless lives were turned upside down, and the one attack responsible for that was the Buster call. That attack is now aimed directly at you, my friends whom I found at long last. The more I wish to stay with you all, the greater your risk from the fangs of my destiny. No matter how far across the sea I sail, an unshakable foe continues to pursue me. That foe is simply the world and its darkness. First with Aokiji, and now this time I've already involved you twice. If this is to continue forever, no matter how kind and compassionate you all are, someday it will become too much of a burden. Someday you'll betray me and you'll cast me aside. That's my greatest fear. That's why I don't want you to come rescue me. If I'm going to die someday anyway, I just want to die here. And you get there, they're like, Robin, no, Robin. They're trying to, you know. And then you get, and then I like Zoro, he's like, so that's how it was. And then, ha ha ha, I understand. That makes perfect sense from old Spandine over here, you know. You're absolutely right. Having you tagging along, no one would not consider that a nuisance. Ha 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 ha. Look at that symbol, pirates. It represents the unity of more than 170 nations. Right here, buddy. Allied across the 4 seas and the Grand Line, it represents the world. Do you realize how frivolous your resistance is? Do you understand the sheer power of the organization that is after this one woman? And then I just love this, man. Luffy just goes, I totally get who Robin's enemy is. Sniper King, and then you get him. Uh-huh. Shoot down that flag. Roger. And I love this, man, you know. My new weapon, a giant pachinko shooter. I call Kabuto. Witness its power. Special attack, Firebird Star. And he just puts down that world government flag, right? Oh my goodness. And then you get, and Robin's just like, you know, thinking, oh my god, because like they just declared war on the world, right? This is awesome. They did it. Do they realize what an attack on this flag means? They did it. And you get all different guys from all around Enies lobby. Everybody's just shitting bricks, right? And then this is where it gets really, really intense, man. Just, oh. The pirates have made a declaration of war against the world government. Are you crazy? You really think you can survive now that the entire world's your enemy? And that's old Spandine, right? The human condom. And then we just get Luffy. Bring it on! You know, and you got this double page spread. You've got Robin tearing up, crying in the corner over here. You've got Spandine, who's now shitting bricks because he's like, fuck, man, they're unstoppable. They don't care. They don't care. They're just gonna go. Robin, I still haven't heard it from your lips. Say that you want to live. And then I just love the faces on everybody, man. You just got this great, just looking, just determined grimace on Chopper. You've got Sanji just looking smooth and badass with his smoke hanging out of his mouth. You've got Zoro just looking like he want to tear somebody's ass up. He got 3 swords and he want to use all of them, right? Oh my god. And then you got Nami who's just like, oh, gal pals. But anyway, oh my goodness. So I just love this. And then you get the Robin who's just kind of like, live? And this is all going on in her head, you know, and she's seeing the flashbacks. If you can't live in this world, Robin, your very existence is your greatest crime, Robin. And then she's just like, I didn't want to think I could wish for that, but, you know, oh, I just love it. And no one ever allowed me to wish it. I just want to die. And you see all this stuff. The sea is vast, someday for sure. And I love that. You'll find friends who will protect you, you know, obviously from the last chapter, but this is, of course, 20 years ago from Saul, you know. Have faith in Luffy. And then, of course, you see from a few chapters ago on the sea train with Sniper King, right? Is it really okay to make a little wish? And then this is the part that had me going, man, right here. I want to live, you know, I want to live. And I mean, she's just crying. Tears are rolling down her face, down her cheeks, you know. Take me to sea with you. And then she says, And then I love Frankie. I like you guys, darn it. So we get, the drawbridge is being lowered. It seems they've succeeded. Oh, I'm so excited. You know, get the Sniper King. They're coming. And I just love everything. And then Luffy just, let's go. You know, oh my God, man. The shit has gone down. But I mean, that has got to be one of the most powerful things ever. I want to live, you know, and it seems like such a small thing because, you know, most of us, the majority of us, we want to live, right? However, you think about it, for the last 20 years of her life, I mean, anybody she even attempted to get close to wound up getting hurt, killed, betraying her, and she was just constantly told that she's like a burden on the world, on society as we know it, you know? And then to go and to have these Straw Hats just relentlessly come after her, even after she tried to shun them and push them away. And then to go and see why she wanted that. She's like, listen, I'm eventually going to be too much of a burden. You're going to let me go and cast me aside anyway. So rather than having that hurt then and wanting to die, I'll just want to die now. I'll just take my death now and I'll be good to go, right? And Luffy's like, no, fuck that. That's not happening. You know, and I love that. Sniper King, that flag, shoot it down. And that was, and it's just a flag, but the neat thing is that it symbolizes, fuck you, world government. We're coming after you. It doesn't matter who we have to kill. It doesn't matter who we have to stop. It doesn't matter what we have to destroy. But Robin is our crew member, and you will not fuck with her. And that's what I got from that, man. And just at the end, let's go, you know. And then just her finally coming to the realization of, I want to live, you know. Oh, so good. So good. All right, I better stop before I have an aneurysm over here. So, that's where the chapter leaves off. My chapter question for you, brothers and sisters, is what were your overall thoughts on the chapter, but especially just the declaration of war on the government, from Luffy, obviously, through the Sniper King, and just Luffy and his, I mean, her obviously, and I want to live, but Luffy and his just, let's go. I mean, man, I am so pumped now. I want to go hit a punching bag, take over a third world country. I got to do something, you know. And actually, I shouldn't say that because, you know, it doesn't matter if it's a third world. I just want to take over a country, you know what I mean? Maybe a state, maybe a town. I don't know, you know. Barricade myself inside of a Walmart or something, for Christ's sakes. Anyway. But leave your answer to those questions in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, and we will look forward to catching you all in the next one, Nation. If you too want to live, remember to follow me on my other channels, as well as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.